Um, Today is still January 20th, 2023. It's been a long day. Um, like I said, that one guy showed up. What was it? A couple days ago at Walmart, 62 by the Valentine candy aisle. He was the one in Sheets a little over a year ago, about a year and 4 months ago. My one client and I were in there, and Sheets on my phone, and some guys came up behind me, and while he's ordering at the stand and said, "Yeah, right, she's a child molester." Okay, and my client clenches up his fist, and I'm like, "Stay out of this." I saw innocent of everything at 18. And he looks over at him. He's gonna punch him. I'm like, "Stay out of this." And they run to the bathroom. Well, this older guy walks by with a group of guys. Everybody's to stay out of it. No one's to say a word to her about what's going on. Okay. And he said, and he's rambling about walking out. He was in Walmart. There, I'm over by the Valentine candy. This heavyset guy comes up to me and he says, "Hi." I smile at him. I'm like, "Hi." And that other guy, I see him. I thought, I seen you in over here. Who are you? And he walks off and he goes over to him. And he said, "Are you going to say something to her?" He said, "No." "Did anybody say anything to her today?" He said, "No." He said, "Good, I don't want anybody to say anything to her with what's going on." It's just that agent running a drug scam. Him and his family. Huh? That's it. It is just them. It is just them running a drug scam. Well, he steals from the federal government out of the witness protection program. hmm That's it. It's just them stealing. They think they're funny. I have never been questioned of wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted. I've never been found guilty. They made everything up. It goes back to that old man coming up to me for every idle word you tell on us. I'll turn it on you. You try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester. Now here he works for my husband that's trying to kill me at the time. And if I try to leave him, this is their plan. And then it's to date rape, drug at me, and tell me say crazy stuff in front of investigators. Like one of the guys that have watched me, we found out some old ass was drugging up Karen before. Yeah, where I had bruises. But this is, and that's where that Eric made fun of everybody for falling for it. November 2022, 2 to 6 p.m. Walmart 62 by the hair salon, right inside the door. That all the tapes before were him and not me. Like I said, and he did it for everybody to turn on me, ha 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 ha, mocking all these people for falling for it. And this agent, do you realize how sick all this is? Like I said, he's had to molest his own children, and rape them and torture them for punishments. For Michelle to be a little 19, 20-year-old kid, okay, saying she can have people raped and it's acceptable, for them not to be appalled. That means they have been raped to the point that it's acceptable, and he's probably done it to them as children. He has created them into the monster that he is. Um, Being in a witness protection program, do you realize I cannot be his only victim? Him setting up witness protection programs and then uh, bullying these people and raping them and torturing them and publicly humiliating them and then sticking the money in his own pocket. You do realize he could have just put the money in his own pocket. He could have been as sweet as he could have been in the world to me on the phone. He never had to bully me, never had to badger me. He could just put it in his pocket and then open it up and just never call me back. Nobody ever had to drug me. Nobody ever had to rape me. They didn't have to sell it online. The terror that they did to me. And they sure as hell didn't have to show it to little 5-year-old girls, little boys. That is a form of child molesting. He is a child molester. Him and his children are child molesters. For them and their sexual predators, for them to kick in my door, and I'm not even moving in, them to break in and date rape drug me until I'm almost passing out, even outside within the first 2 weeks, and then to keep me drugged up there, and then scare me into calling the FBI, and then him bullying me, and where they have stalked me and photoshopped scene in their stalking tapes, and they had date rape drug me before. And it scared me into calling the FBI. And then bully me and badger me on the phone and belittle me. And then open that program. And the witness protection program. And then him steal the money. And then terrorize me on every Satanist level that he could think of. And sell videos of him terrorizing me to the public. And make money off of it, and rape and torture me, and then show it to little babes. He is who the FBI hunts. He is a demon from hell, him and his children, and then they leave messages that they're laughing at me. These people in this society, some of them are actually smarting up and calling the cops, and they're calling the police and talking to them. And they need to. These people have been so stupid for the drug money that where he had drug dealers down here and he sold a login that they would let their kids go out. Will made it up to me today. It's sick. They raped her. He had showed it to little 5-year-old little girls and boys, 8-year-olds. That is a federal crime, and that is child molesting. My one client on Turquoise Road in Canton, across the street is a split level. They've been dealing with the Canton police, and they had already told them they knew their stalking tapes were them and not me, and they were looking for who's doing it back on June 7th. That they were out there. They said, we all know that they raped her. Nobody came to my rescue. Do you know they just made up rules? And people followed them like they were 10-year-old children and mindless boobs with no common sense. They act like they live in a dictatorship. Instead of the United States of America, they say, oh, you can't do it. Okay, we can't do this. You're not allowed to do that. Okay. And they listen to them like they're 5-year-olds. Like they don't have a brain cell in their own heads. Well, I'm getting tortured. They all say, well, no man's to help her. Anybody can help me. It's your lack of integrity and your lack of IQ to let a rapist tell you you can't help somebody. And a drugger and a kidnapper. That's their low IQs. Anybody can help me. That agent can't talk to me. It's called badgering. It's Department of Justice 1729, and he can't do it. He don't have that kind of authority. I had people pull in here the other day, and they were laughing, and they were some of the bad trucks that used to follow me around, and I told you there's a whole list of people that seen him. And I'll tell you what, and how the agent stole the money, was even giving some of it to them. They were bragging loud and proud. My car's bugged, and they know it's bugged. And they know they sold it, and they know they don't care. Because you know what? They think they can't get arrested. They could act like they could walk up and stab somebody in the heart with a knife and nobody would ever arrest him. That's how arrogant they are. Here, we tortured this poor woman. We got a video of it. We show it to children. Huh? You're gonna arrest us. We drugged her. Got videos of it. You want to see it? We tried to kill her. You want to see? We got videos of it. They don't think they can be arrested. Nobody's that powerful. Nobody is. It's been people's low IQs to let child molesters go free. Huh? Is it illegal for them to show violent sexual rapes to minors? Yes. Is it a federal crime? Yes. Are they in jail? No. So are they laughing at the law? Yeah. Is it illegal to break in and watch somebody outside a protective light case with statements? Yeah. They laughing? Yeah. Is it illegal to watch them on the toilet in the shower? Yeah. Show videos of them? And they didn't know you were doing it? Yeah. Federal crimes here. Huh? Is it illegal to break in and drug somebody? Yeah. Is it illegal to get money and assets out of fear and duress? Yeah. Is it illegal to set somebody up in a witness protection program and then steal the money meant for that victim and put it in your own damn dirty pocket? Yeah. Because why would you even have a witness protection program if you're not going to protect that person? If you're just going to put the money in your own dirty pocket? Huh? Those programs are set up that person will have police protection at home, that they will have medical cards so they can get counseling or whatever they need, living expenses and their money. And it's meant for the victims or the people that are witnessing against somebody bad enough that the government's looking into it. And it's for their protection only. Because they don't want you to have to go out and work. Because the more you're out in public, the more you can be seen, the more they could actually find you. And if you want to work, you can. But that's where the 24-hour police surveillance. And you know what? That is this whole thing, people laughing at me, that he is setting people up in a witness protection program for turning somebody in and him putting it in his dirty pocket and stealing it for him and his friends and family, and then laughing in front of people that they stole it and daring society and the police to arrest him. Just like they're daring people. It's just like they could just grab a girl off the street and rape them right on the sidewalk. And they say nobody can arrest us. Okay. They act like they are invincible and don't matter what they do. I put it on Facebook, they're child molesters. Do you know, I went to go into Acme Click today. Everybody said, we all know none of this is funny anymore. Nothing is. Try being their victim. I never thought any of this was funny. I asked him to help me because I was scared. I was supposed to be in a witness protection program. And how was I to know Dave was dating that agent's daughter and it was him doing it to me? That's real funny, isn't it? He could have just paid me off. He could have moved me away. He could have just had everything. He didn't have to hurt me. Nobody did. Nobody did. Nobody had to hurt me. You know, I had dinner with somebody tonight, and they said, you know, I showed them a picture of Katie. And I said, this is the one that they said that he was actually dating before and he wanted. And he's like, but why? Well, I go to giggle, and I know that's a mean girl thing, but she's not pretty, and she's like 350 pounds. I said, well, she owns a dairy farm and horses. He said, but you wouldn't even want her. He said, you know what I think? He said, I think he was going to get rid of you. I think he already had a young girlfriend before he moved up there. we didn't know about. And then he was going to go after that Katie and then steal that money from the farm and have her done it. And I showed him the picture of that Kathy that he went afterwards. He's like, that one's even worse. And then I told him how Dixie said that, I said, when you're just dating somebody, they pop the question, that will you marry me? And you've only been dating a few months. They put a ring on your finger and you're not living together. And then you break up. It's give me my ring back and get the fuck out of my face. You owe them nothing and they owe you nothing. It didn't work out. Okay? Dixie said she got what she wanted. They broke up on her terms. She wasn't even living with him. She was part of the ones for them trying to grab me out of John's church. I'm sitting in a pew. I look over and that girl with the brown hair and brown eyes. She looked over. I felt somebody come up behind me. I look over and she goes, and I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, that Kathy nudges John Jamaro. And he jumps out, and as he's going past me, he pushes that guy from behind me. And I close my eyes for a second, I turn around, and he's got his his arms across the door, and it's rambling as he's holding that guy out, and people are horrified walking to the front of the service. She was part of that. She probably blackmailed him. Serves him right. But, that makes me wonder. Dave and I went out to eat. We went to a restaurant we hadn't went to before. This young blonde girl walks beside me and him. She looks at me and him, and she sits down with this older couple. Looked like really old parents, maybe young grandparents. She sits down with them, and she's right behind me, and she's like in a booth, okay, in a restaurant. She's like, does he think it's funny for him bringing her there? I said, Dave, do you know her? No, I've never seen her before. And she's talking. She's right behind me, and I'm like, Dave, are you sure you don't know her? And she's like, it's the back of my thing. And I'm like, what on earth? And I said, it seems like she knows you. He's like, I don't know what she's talking about, Karen. I don't know her. And I turn around and they're like sneering at me. What's that? And then people act like I should know Savannah. And I told you, I never had problems with Pam and Jack. Ever as a child or even an adult. And they left and went up to Pamers because Strange was horrible to Jack's sister over the pulpit, made her cry. And like I said, I see their kids when they brought them, but I didn't know them. But I seen them, when they bring them to your mom, and we start going up there, and she's grown. She's like 17, 18 years old, and she's sitting with her mom. And I'd say hi to her mom and dad. Never a problem with them. But then Kaylee's like, well, when the guy followed her around to me, she's like, well, Savannah. I know of her. What do you mean you don't know? I said, well, I know of her. She sits with her parents. But I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? And her mouth dropped. Matter of fact, we were walking and she turned around and went, what do you mean you don't know her? I said, I know her parents and I never had a problem with them. I've seen her. I don't even know her siblings. You know what I mean? They just visited and seen Joanne and Ronnie. Her mom and dad, when they would visit and they bring the kids in, and they were small. And then when we started up there, they were teenagers. I don't know them. And she's young enough to be Dave's granddaughter. Well, I looked her up, and that's when I found out it was her Facebook friend that followed and rented me. And she said, well, her old boyfriend was into a lot of drugs. And so was she at one point. And yeah. Delano, Eddie, or another man in Pamela's church right before it started came up to Dave. You think you're better than her dating all those women. I was so mad because we're in the vestibule. I walk off and I come back and I'm like to the point I'm red. Mad. I'm like, Dave, what's he talking about? Karen has no idea what he's talking about. He had 17 girlfriends in high school. He said he was playing all of them. And that they all found out at one time and they all broke up with him. But he said he actually had 17 girlfriends in high school. But that guy I had dinner with, he said, how much you want to bet? He probably already had another young girlfriend. They already came up with this idea to have you killed. That's where the times. He said, and where he was acting like he wanted that Katie, she was probably next. And he wanted that farm because he said there's nothing to want. And I showed him the picture of Kathy. He said she was probably going to be another one. He said they were just going to do away with people to get what they wanted in the money. Because just get rid of them. Where he wouldn't have to pay me alimony. He'd get Katie's farm and then their money. And then probably Kathy was probably going to be a life insurance policy. And they were just going to serial kill. But I don't know. And I'll tell you what, going out to eat with somebody and you end up just talking about the case and then there's people sitting around you and you don't know if they're officers or investigators, and they weren't my regular PL people. And that's where, you know what I mean? When they're not my regular PL people, it's upsetting. And I don't know. And when you get them talking about the case and they keep wanting information and information, and then you get to the point you're stuttering, you just come home and it doesn't even feel like a date. It's like it's a nice way of somebody getting your statement. It's hard. You know, I stopped in the gas station and I picked up some stuff and I said something about it. And the one gas station clerk was really nice. He's like, you know, he said, you come in, you talk about stuff. And I know, he said, the way you talk about it, he said, it's interesting. And he said, you know, I know you need to get it off your chest because it's so much. He said, but you know, he said nobody would want to, he said, I don't understand why somebody would want to sit and talk about what happened in that case for over 2 hours and then 4 hours before that. I said it was almost like you wonder if they were like an investigator or something. I said, it's not the first time. And I said, I hate that because then I end up leaving and I'm almost stuttering, or I am, because it was too much what I lived through. And I don't know. And then you just want to come home and cry. You know, I'm just money to Michelle's family and something they play with, and they laugh that they haven't been arrested. People forget I'm a human being. And this isn't a reality show where people don't get hurt. This is real life. They're really hurting people. I used to have a normal life. I was married 33 years. I adored my husband. I waited on him like a servant, like a king. Made love to him all the time. He'd be good to me for like a year and a half. And he would hurt me really bad if I made a mistake or made him mad. No one should live like that because those kind of people will kill you. And that's not love, that's control. Where my feelings were honest, Hey, listen, I had 3 sons I adored and braved all over, and I had 10 grandchildren that were my heart and soul. And it was my life, my existence, and my reality. And just for them to make money on every single level, I'm just their victim that they're terrorizing in front of people. And like people say, we all know, everybody knows none of this is funny. I hope somebody get down here and arrest them. Them stealing $300,000 out of my case alone for the witness protection program, and then selling the locket and publicly humiliating me, and them showing this horror to babies. They need to go. There's large men that have showed up, and people have talked about it clear out to North Canton. They all know those large men showed up, and they're looking for the ones that stole the money. And these people are aerially saying it out in public, like daring them. And I don't know if they're looking for an individual or what. But I'm just a pawn to them. I'm a pawn to all these stupid people. Something they play with. And they're fighting back and forth over that money. And I don't want to be in the middle of it. And I don't have anywhere to go. I was trying to get the government to fix this so I could get my money and get out of here. I was supposed to get moved out 4 years ago. Not left in a concentration camp that this rogue agent and his drug dealing friends set up. And what's sad? I called the FBI. Called the hotline. He was a real agent in the Stark County Courthouse Task Force. September 23rd, 18. About that day, I called the FBI hotline, and I called him back on the 27th of 18, 27th or 28th of 18. And that's when the informant program got opened. And the witness protection program. And that's where all these different officers talk about it. Well, how loud are they? It used to be so quiet here. You could hear Becky across the street talk outside on her cell phone on her bench. It was quiet as it could be. I was just driving by screaming. You know they're not done with me.